Hey guys, Steven here, Fanatic Perspective. John Tran in the building.
What's up, guys?
We're feeling good coming off a Texas win on senior night against the Iowa State Cyclones. We're going to recap that game. We're going to go into our Kansas prep, and then we're going to have a little fun conversation about West Virginia OU. But first off, a lot of people have been talking about the atmosphere at DKR that we experienced on Saturday night game, senior night, whole bit. Just your reaction. We were all taking videos and just the Journey song, whole bit.
Yeah, to me, out of all the games I've been to at DKR, it was the best experience I've been to.
Me too.
It also had to do with kind of the characters that were seated around us too, which were very entertaining. And I mean, just the fact that everyone seemed engaged in the game, and yeah, I mean, just I think they said that the "Don't Stop Believing" thing happened just on a whim. They saw
it was very
yeah,
organic.
Yeah.
No, it was. We saw
it. Didn't seem like it was forced or anything like that.
No. And, we have to give credit to the students as well, because it started in the student section. A couple girls were doing that. They start waving their phone. Everybody else joins in. And that's what college football, that's what the college environment's about. I feel like that's what's been lacking.
Yes.
In our program for so long. And it's so refreshing to go to a game as a fan and not just enjoy it, but also see it affect the play on the field. Because I felt like our guys were charged up, and I felt like Iowa State, when we talked about them having a true freshman quarterback coming into a relatively rough environment, it really played a role in, they got a little rattled. I felt like they got a little rattled.
Well, the quarterback he's young, and he's going to be a good quarterback. There's no question about that. He was shook by the second quarter. It goes down to just our blitzes working and finding home, and the crowd. The crowd was absolutely a factor in his decision making and his playmaking.
Absolutely. We actually want to do some shout outs real quick. So we actually met one of our loyal subscribers, Mr. Doug Arrington from Biloxi, Mississippi. It was awesome to meet you at the Horns Ball tailgate. We'll get to those guys in a second.
Good call on our mood after the game too.
Well, here we are, Doug. And, thank you for spending time with us pregame. And, we appreciate your comments, following us on social media. We just love interacting with you guys. We're all fans. And this channel was made specifically because I want to represent and show what it's like from a fan perspective, and, us buying tickets, really supporting the teams that we love. And Doug, you're a prime example of that. Our buddy Ron Meyer,
provided the tickets
for us, and we had a great, we were about 5 deep. It was probably our biggest group. We've been to a game and had a blast, with our friends James and Bo, and that was awesome. Our friend Erica getting us involved with the Horns Ball tailgate. The guys that run that program there, Freddie and Ryan, they've done a tremendous job all year. 17th and San Jack, they put on it's almost like a club-like atmosphere before the game. Really, a lot of fun and great proximity to the stadium. So incredible job, Erica, Ryan, Freddie, all you guys that put that together every home game. Very, very thankful. Anybody else? I think you met somebody. Adam.
Yeah, Adam Thompson.
Yeah.
I met him at Freebirds. I was being a little fat boy and eating good, and he came up and started talking to us, and I appreciate it, coming up and sitting down and talking with me, talking some football with me is always
shout out Adam Thompson. Yeah. So we just want to show y'all some love before we get into talking ball. Good, bad, ugly. Y'all know how it goes. There's a lot of good. Let's start with these seniors. The much maligned senior class. We've had such a roller coaster ride with so many of these guys. And Saturday night, they shine, John.
They absolutely did. I mean, everyone shined. I mean, even to their looks. I mean, Breckenhager came out styling, huh? But
future WWE superstar Breckenhager.
We're talking about like PJ Locke. I mean, if you watch the game again, how he blew up about 5 different screens that would have gone for 15 or 15 plus yards that he was there that made Brock Purdy cover up and duck, and we got coverage sacks.
He had to eat them. Yeah, he had to eat the football.
And Omenahu, fumble recovery, and I think he had 2 sacks.
Those guys on defense, man, Chris Nelson, Charles Omenahu, who was, I believe, the highest graded player coming out of Saturday's game. PJ Locke, like you said, now 2 straight weeks of good football for him, to be honest with you. And he's been, targeted on this channel for his play, rightfully so. I'm not going to back off anything we've said, but he's responded. And he's doing what he can, playing out of position, in my opinion. But they've done a better job of supporting him schematically and asking him more to be more of like a rover in some senses. They're kind of doing the same thing with B.J. Foster, who I'm excited to talk about in a little bit. But Brecken Hager comes in and gets a sack. Gary Johnson got a sack.
Gary Johnson was phenomenal.
He was everywhere.
I know that Omenahu was rated highest defensive performance, but Gary was right there. He played well on special teams, which we'll talk about special teams in a little bit too. But just spying the quarterback, using him as the spy, should have been
very
something
effective.
we should have been something we should have been doing since the start of Big 12 conference play.
I think to marry all this together, because we also had some great performances offensively. The offensive line, we challenged them on this channel, physicality, and they've been physical all year. But Iowa State's, the perception of Iowa State was that they were going to be a physical team that we were going to have to deal with coming in, and we accepted that challenge. And I think we were led by Elijah Rodriguez. Calvin Anderson responded from a poor game at Texas Tech. Vahe was getting pancakes like across the board, and you're looking at us like, man, like these guys really are balling out their last game at DKR. Trey Watson was impressive in the run game, and I know that's going to kind of lead my segue to you want to kind of highlight one of our assistant coaches.
Stan Drayton has been a godsend. I mean, before this, we had Foreman as our bell cow running back, but he had fumble issues when he was here. What we haven't seen from our starting running backs is fumbling the ball. I think Trey Watson had that one fumble in Maryland.
Hasn't
fumbled since. We have a true freshman toting the rock constantly. 15 rushes a game, hasn't fumbled once this season. Yes, knock on wood, Daniel Young did have that fumble.
We'll get to him later.
To tell you the truth, he shouldn't have been running the ball, but he's been such a great coach for especially. And I think you have to give Trey Watson a lot of credit too. He's probably leading that room.
He's added leadership to the room. Credit to the seniors. And Stan Drayton, to your point, has found a very good balance on how he's using these guys. When he's doing a really good job of filling out the game and understanding, okay, you need to be out here with this personnel, but when we get in this package, I need Trey. Trey's a little bit more experienced, maybe goal line, in terms of just hitting that hole. And there's certain strengths and weaknesses that he's married those two things with both of those players beautifully. And I think there was an issue with we'll get to the Daniel Young stuff. I'm not going to touch on that right now. We're in the good part of our segment here. I have another good, and forgive us for taking so long to mention this gentleman's name.
Your boy.
My boy, little Jordan Humphrey, little Yak, as we call him here on this channel. I mean, every single week. Does he ever get tackled by the first guy?
Nope. That's why we nicknamed him that.
And it's remarkable because they actually started a poll about the great Texas receivers, and I think it was Roy Williams and Jordan Shipley, and then he's right there with Kwame Cavill if you go back. But if you look at his production, he's now at 70 catches, almost 1,100 yards, 8 touchdowns. He's been consistent statistically every single game. He's made some unbelievable highlight reel catches. He uses his size. And Tom Herman thought one of the biggest things I took away from that press conference, someone just asked him, they said, what are your thoughts on Lil Jordan Humphrey? Without hesitation, he's like, he's the best player on our team. Without hesitation, your head coach says that about you. And then he goes into not just because of his physical gifts, but because of how intelligent he is as a football player. He was like, we have to challenge him every week because we put so much on his plate from a route running perspective, reading coverages, asking him to play multiple positions. In the spring game, he was playing tailback a lot. You know what I mean? Like he was like, little Jordan knows what everyone's doing. It's almost like a quarterback level of intelligence. And you see that with the depth. That's why he's able to get so much space. Because as a wide receiver, when you get to that level of understanding, you run your routes at a certain depth. You know, some guys are fast and some guys, but there's just certain ability that he has, that he's married that with his intelligence and his physical attributes. And that may have been his last game at DKR.
Yeah.
And if it was, I totally understand. Selfishly, we would love to have him back on the 40 acres next year. But at this point, he's been one of the best players in the Big 12 conference this year. And it's been a joy to watch him. The other day I was fanning out about Ezekiel Elliott as a Cowboys fan and how we just need to appreciate the superstars we have. Mm-hmm. And as Texas fans, we just got to appreciate people like this because they don't come around every single year. Any remaining thoughts before we move on?
Yeah, I just back up your claims too. I mean, it's just been fun to watch him grow into what he played as a true freshman. Mm-hmm. And he didn't get many catches but we tried to get him the ball. I think the Charlie Strong era, they knew what they had in him.
Yeah, because they were one of the few people that gave him an offer.
Yeah, they knew what they had in him, and they tried to get him the ball, but I just think he was just too young. But the growth we've seen just this year alone, it's great to see. And, if that was his last game, I understand why it's his last game. I mean, he's been balling out.
We also like how he's handled the questions because the media has honed in on him and asking him, hey, are you going to stay, and all this type of stuff. And his answer?
My next opponent is Kansas.
That's all I want to hear. Shane Buechele, I think, is a good. Went 10 for 10. Ready when called upon yet again. Yes, there is a drop-off from Sam Ehlinger. Sam Ehlinger right now, guys, you just got to understand there's going to be a drop-off because he's playing as well as any of the best quarterbacks in the country right now. With that being said, for Shane Buechele to come in cold, high-pressure environment, the difference is, though, we got him a little bit of a lead.
Yeah, the coaches were a lot smarter on how they handled him versus the Baylor game. They got him an easy pass right away. I think it was to Andrew Beck?
I can't remember, but it was like after that.
It was a quick.
It was a shallow cross that he got to Little Jordan, where he ran it up the field.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and they got him easy throws and
they threw him on first down with him.
Yeah, it wasn't just run pass punt. Run pass punt. They changed up the play calls a little bit, and I think that helped him get acclimated to the game a little bit better than what he was playing in during the Baylor situation.
So I understand. We'll get to Sam in a second here. We just have so much good to talk about. Mm-hmm. The last part that I want to go into is the Revolution 18 freshman class. We got it. These boys, they pulled up to senior night like it was freshman night. Because B.J. Foster balled out. I love the way he got a sack, and he was just providing heat. He played 3 different positions. Caden Stearns got a sack. And I loved how they were almost being used interchangeably back there. I like the fact that B.J. basically was being asked to play Brandon Jones' position a lot. But then on third downs, he would move inside to like a rover because they would bring in Chris Brown. Shout out to Chris Brown. He got an interception as well. But our freshman, Joseph Osai, wow, rocking the 4.6.
Yep. I mean, he was just. It seemed like the fourth quarter, he was all over the place, all over the field. Handprints everywhere, footprints everywhere. I mean, he was the reason why I think Gary Johnson had 2 sacks in the fourth quarter. He was eating.
They had
double
6 sacks
teams.
overall.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was just his speed off the edge blew me away. I didn't realize he had that type of quickness.
Neither did I.
And then his ability. What I liked was when he got home, he went after the football, and that's just instinctive. He probably doesn't know what he's doing yet, but the fact that he's just out there making.
Was he the one that forced the fumble?
Okay,
yeah.
That a minute he scooped up
Yep.
and he tried to get a touchdown.
Yeah,
But I don't blame him.
you don't blame him. He's senior now. He's trying to.
But Joseph Osai, he's going to be a fun player to watch. Maro Jomo's going to be a fun guy to watch. Keandre Coburn. We do have some defensive line guys who we're going to be excited about in conjunction with the guys that are currently recruiting. Just moving along, getting to the bad. Sam Ellinger goes down again. Shoulder issue. Looks like it's a contusion. Theoretically, with it being a short week, are you concerned about his availability for Kansas?
Of course. I mean, he's our starting quarterback. He leads our team. He's grown so much in this offense.
And he was balling before he left.
You're worried about it because it's on his throwing shoulder too. I mean, one freak hit. I mean, just look what happened with Colt McCoy during the national championship game. He was out.
Went dead, yeah.
He was out, and I think he had to have surgery. So that's something that we're looking at from a health perspective. Do I think we can win with Shane Buechele at quarterback? Yes.
Against Kansas, yes.
Yes, I do. I do believe we can. I think he has the experience, and it would be a great story for him to come back on the place where he basically he
threw the pick.
Yeah,
he threw the pick. Yeah.
So
I'm worried about. I'm not worried about Kansas if we have to play Shane. I do think the coaches have a contingency plan for that. We'll get to Kansas, and we are not overlooking them on this channel, guys, at all. But I am worried long term if things play out in our favor. That's all I'll say about that right now. As for the special teams, I was disappointed in Cameron Dicker.
Yeah, that kick. Yes, college hashes are farther apart.
Inside 30 yards.
Yeah, but you got to make that. And it's not just special teams was not great all around. We did another directional kick that actually worked in our favor for once. But
every time I rant about something, they go back and do it anyway, and it worked. Like when I said Devontae Davis doesn't get turnovers, then he turned around and gets 2 turnovers.
He gets 2 turnovers.
And then we say they don't cover directional kicks, and then they do it anyway, and they start covering.
I mean, the only reason why they scored a touchdown on us is because of that punt return. We were talking about how they could not, they didn't break down. They just came down full speed and one quick cut, and he's gone. Just learning.
You can't run 100 miles an hour like that. You have to go 3/4 speed and break down and make him break down, and then
make him go east west, not north south.
Because it's the chances of you blowing up a guy. Yeah, you're trying to you can
highlight reel.
Yeah, but it's just not good coverage and contain. And at a critical moment in the game, yes, you're up, but you're trying to close this thing, right? I wanted them to leave without allowing a touchdown because they played well enough to where they deserved to leave that game without allowing a touchdown. And then you know that's why I don't really give the defense a hard time for even giving up the touchdown.
Yeah, because I think it was at the 10-yard line.
It was they got at the 6. It's like, well, I mean, what am I supposed to do with that? So special teams, they got to get that stuff buttoned up because that's how you can let a team like Kansas stay in the game when you have those issues. And then again, moving forward, whether it's the bowl game or anything else, that's going to be that could potentially be a swing of momentum,
right?
As well. So those are our bads. We do have a couple uglies, and I'll start with the game related ugly, and then we'll go to something off the field. Daniel Young and the entire end clock management situation.
So this was so bad that on the walk back to our car, we were legitimately arguing.
We were
about it all the way. And I don't know if people know if you park on West Campus how far you have to walk, but it was a good probably mile that we were sitting there talking about this. In my opinion, there's no way you hand that ball off. You just kneel it kneel it 3 times, make them use one of their timeouts and punt it with 20 seconds remaining. If we're up 2 touchdowns, if we can't hold at 2 touchdowns,
mathematically,
20 seconds.
I don't think you could even score that. I mean, you can, but the chances are
just if Tom Herman is on he's one of those coaches who goes off of probability. That goes from, I think we even said it was 100% to a 99% chance of winning. Yes, we still won the game, but still, I don't want to even give them the opportunity to throw for a touchdown and then, hey, we still have a minute left. Let's kick an onside kick and, possibly get another Hail Mary on this one.
My frustration, and I think the argument came in, and I agree with that. The argument I had was, yes, I agree about that, but I know why he was doing what he was doing as well. He's trying to get Daniel Young some carries. It's also a recruiting thing. Like, whether you like it or not, they promise people certain things. And Daniel Young hasn't played a lot. He's moved down for obvious reasons. But they are also trying to get the guy some confidence, get him a couple carries. Now, the argument here is those are meaningless carries because he's running into a loaded box and where he's going to get blasted, blah, blah, blah. But to me, it's also a coaching point. Like, the player has to be held accountable. He should know, if I'm the closer, I cannot fumble in that situation under any circumstances. Ball handling, Shane Buechele should know that. Anybody handling the ball back there, from the center to the quarterback to the exchange, you cannot have ball handling issues at the end of games. So I think the players should be held. My argument, they should be held accountable just as much as the coaches. Now, I understand what y'all saying. The coaches should have never even put them in that situation, but they were trying to give them a little bit of trust, give them a rope, get the guy some carries. It didn't work out. So, I mean, we won the game, but it didn't work out in Daniel Young's favor. I'm sure he felt like crap after the game.
Yeah,
so,
of course.
The other ugly is the Breckenhager Big 12 situation. He said Oklahoma sucks. Obviously, he's in full-blown WWE character mode, auditioning. And Brecken, first off, as a player, he's had a weird senior year where he's really struggled at the beginning of the year. Then he had a couple good games. Then he started really dealing with a lot of injuries. He's probably still not 100%. They've moved on to Joseph Osai and Taquan Graham, and Brecken's basically more of a third down pass rush specialist at this point, which we both kind of felt like that should be his role to begin with.
Yeah.
With that being said, he's still one of the voices and faces of this team. And the Big 12 came down on him for his comments. Just wanted to get your thoughts because it's caused a lot of contention amongst the fan base.
Yeah, I mean, I think you and I are in agreement about this, that, it's fine. Go ahead and do that, but make him apologize. Take that with a grain of salt. I mean, if you make someone apologize, is it really an apology?
Yeah.
But I mean, they made him apologize, but what about all the other people who disrespect Texas? I mean, do they have to write an apology? Did Will Grier have to write an apology when he threw the ball at the stands and I think yelled out the F word to our fans and threw the horns down? He didn't have to do that. I mean, all Brecken did was say what all the fans do is 11:51 and OU sucks. That's what he said. Yeah, it's disrespectful, and I understand why the Big 12 did it, but you have to do it to everyone too. And it's not that.
I think it just has to be consistency across the board. This is the same conference that stood silent on the Baylor situation, and you guys can comment on that if you want, as much as you want, but that's just the fact of the matter. But they seem to be petty about situations like this. Look, Breckenhager's dad was the same dude that called Texas A&M a bunch of cockroaches. So, going back, football is a game of trash talking and all of that. And that's why we didn't get all bent out of shape about the horns down. And I even sided with Dana Holgerson in that situation when I said if the officials told him it was okay to do the horns down before the game, they shouldn't have been penalized for that. Now, in the same token, as Texas fans, I do think there's a valid point where we can't have it both ways. We can't complain about the horns down, but then go in the same breath and do the OU sucks. It's
double-edged sword.
It's a double-edged sword. I think if we want to let horns down roll, we should be able to say OU sucks and everybody talks trash. It's you know, it's all fair in the love and sport. You know, we obviously are all conference members and we have these rivalries with all these people. And what would it be? It's not any fun if we start reprimanding everybody that talks trash and whatnot. So I didn't like it. That's why we put it in the ugly. And they you know, it's just, to me, it's just too PC in my opinion. Let's get to Kansas because they played a hell of a football game in Norman, Oklahoma last weekend, putting up 40 points against a reeling OU defense. But Kansas in this Big 12 season, obviously they're getting Les Miles. The big news there. That's a whole nother video for another day. But they've been very competitive. You know, they beat TCU this year, even though TCU's down. They hung in there with West Virginia. They haven't really been getting blown out. And my question to you is, do you think there's a possibility that we're overlooking Kansas with what is looming behind it?
Are you talking about the fan base or are you talking about the team itself?
All right, answer both.
Fan base, yes. The team, what they're saying doesn't seem like they're overlooking them, because every time they're asking about other things, they say, well, you know, we have to get back. Our full attention is on Kansas. That's what they're saying. So, you know, we'll see. We'll learn a lot at 11 a.m. on Friday. They should definitely have our attention, because there's something, if we get past them, there's something that's guaranteed for us.
Correct.
Yeah? And the thing that worries me, it's a short week. It's an 11 a.m. start,
11
right after
start.
a holiday, and it's their senior day as well. That's the thing that scares me. And plus, we don't know about Sam Ellinger's
health. Shoulder, yeah, and they're thinking 2016. Let's ruin their season. Let's try to ruin their season.
They have some positive news that came out this week with Les Miles too. Some of those people may want to show out.
Kansas is trending up right now.
Yeah,
Puka Williams, potential freshman All-American candidate at running back. I think he's well over 1,000 yards. Had a monster, tore Oklahoma up. Peyton Bender has been, you know, statistically, I think 12 touchdowns, only 3 picks.
Hey, they
As
take
a
care
team,
of the ball.
they take care of the football. It's going to be hard to turn them over, especially at home. But you know, physically, this is a team. This is a game where Texas needs to handle it very similar to the way they handled Iowa State.
We need to
Get
go
up.
early and just don't look back. They definitely should have our attention by the way that they played Oklahoma at Oklahoma. So that shouldn't be it.
Yeah, when the players watch that tape on Sunday, they should see, oh, this is a good football team. You know, if you're just looking at it out of the lens, hopefully, because and my concern is, as we've seen as Longhorn fans this season, when there's not a number in front of that team's name,
we played down to the competition.
That's what's frustrating, and that's what's scary about this game, all things considered. If they come out and look like they did against Kansas State and pull it out, I'll take it. And
a win's a win. I don't care.
I'll take it. I'm not going to style point this, honestly, because you can't tell me. Look, they had the Oklahoma State West Virginia game on in the stadium during warmups, and dudes were like, you can't tell me dudes weren't thinking about the Big 12 championship. Yeah, I said it. We're about to talk about it anyway.
Yeah,
dudes were looking at the Big 12 championship. So you know that in the back of a lot of guys' minds, it's there. That's where the coaches come into play, and the senior leadership and the captains to just temper that. Let's handle our business, and let's move on to get to Arlington. That's our goal, because that was their goal from the first day of the season.
Yep.
Right. So I think we both are going to pick this team to beat Kansas. What's the spread? Is it 14 and a half?
14 and a half. So
14 and a half. You know, I think there is a possibility Kansas could cover that.
Spread.
Yeah, I think we do win by a couple scores. I think we win by 10. Just because I think we'll pull away with how physical we've been over the course of the game. I think we'll wear them out. The other thing, though, this is where I want to conclude. So after our game, we'll be watching, if all goes well,
we're sitting down who we're going to be playing.
West Virginia, Oklahoma. I'm going to ask you 2 questions. who's going to win in Morgantown, West Virginia, Oklahoma? Second question is, God willing, we beat Kansas, and because I don't want to talk about. People have come at me, by the way, with, if we lose to Kansas.
No, I don't want. I don't want to hear that.
No, that's not a good look. That's not a good look for the Big 12, though.
Yeah.
If we were to get in and lose to Kansas, I would still go and support as a fan.
Yeah,
but it's not a good look for the conference.
It's not at all.
So we don't need to talk about that.
Yeah, we win. If we win, like.
So first question. Who do you think is going to win between Oklahoma, West Virginia, and Morgantown? And who would you prefer to play of the two teams?
Both of them are West Virginia. That's the answer to both of them. West Virginia.
Why do you think West Virginia is going to beat Oklahoma?
Because they already got that smackdown. They got smacked in the face basically with the Oklahoma State game. I do think that West Virginia is a better team than Oklahoma State, even though Oklahoma State won. Mm-hmm. I think that
they got caught.
Yeah,
they
got caught. I think that the travel that they have to do to go to West Virginia, Morgantown, is a pain. They have to fly to Pittsburgh, then drive down.
Short week for them as well.
Short week after Thanksgiving, same thing as well. It's a big time game. You know their fans are going to come out. Their fans are. We've had a couple of them on the channel. They're pretty.
I think too. Like I agree. I agree on this, guys, as well. On both West Virginia for both is me. As for the game, I think West Virginia just has a little bit better defense than what I've seen from Oklahoma, to where they could potentially. I'll put it this way: if this game was in Norman, I'd pick Oklahoma.
Yeah, I don't think that Oklahoma could stop their offense. To tell you the truth, I don't. I think they're actually pretty. They're
this
very
could be a game
team.
though that gets in. As we saw on Monday Night Football, that gets in the 50s.
Yeah,
I think it will be honestly. But I'm picking West Virginia as well, which would mean that we would play, as all things considered, we would be playing West Virginia in the Big 12 championship game. I prefer West Virginia, even though we lost to them, because we played C- football against them. And I think we match. I don't want to deal with Kyler Murray again. I'm just being completely honest. And I think with the West Virginia situation, we just match up. I think we do really match up well with them. And overall, I like our defense against Will Grier better than I like our defense against Kyler Murray. So to me, that would give us the best chance to win the Big 12, even though we've already taken a loss on them. And I don't think they would gash us in the run game again. I think Todd Orlando getting another picture of it, I don't think he would allow that. I think he would make them one-dimensional. It's very hard to make Oklahoma one-dimensional because of the quarterback run game. That's where I'm at.
I agree with that completely. The reason why I want them is I want to see how Sam Ellinger backs up his tweet. I want to see. He sent that out. I'm keeping note. I want to see if he's a man of his word, and I want to see if he just shows out and he says that horns are up always.
I'm with it, man.
Yeah.
Well, that's all we wanted to discuss with you guys today. Please have an awesome, safe, and happy Thanksgiving. We're very thankful here, Fanatic Perspective,
Absolutely.
for everyone that, we've grown so much during this season. Many of you have tracked it, and we're going to continue to grow on this channel because we're very passionate about what we're talking about, and we love this football team.
Yeah.
We do. And we're thankful for this coaching staff, for these players. We've had an unbelievable season of fun. It's been ups and downs, but it's been fun.
Yeah.
It's been fun to watch people grow. The young guys, to watch the seniors, sometimes get their butts kicked. Sometimes, it's been a soap opera sometimes with the off the field stuff, but overall it's been so much fun. And you guys, just tell us what you're thankful for in the comments, and let's relive some of the moments from earlier in the season, and give us your predictions for Texas and Kansas. We will be back, with full blown, assuming everything goes as planned. We'll do a preview, hopefully of the Big 12 championship. I would like to do a preview regardless of what happens. Just as a fan of the sport and the conference. So, John, I'm thankful for you, brother.
Thankful for you, man.
Appreciate you.
Hey,
Over and out. Horns always up.